Can somebody explain to me why they think it's a good idea to live stream themselves committing crimes?
Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! Yes! Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! That's what I'm talking about. Yes! We getting gas! Yo, what are y'all doing? We don't got nothing to do with this! We getting gas! Get out the car.
Okay, guys, we're going to be talking about not only the situation in Philadelphia with the, I guess you could say, the mass looting. You could talk about the situation that happened. Of course, there was also a peaceful protest over an incident involving a police officer, which we'll be talking about briefly in this video. And we're also going to be talking about the situation with Target leaving not only East Harlem, but also leaving bits and pieces of San Francisco. So make sure you guys stick around for the full video. And of course, as always, I'll be explaining to you guys what will probably happen as a result of all of this. So make sure you guys stick around and let's go ahead and dive in. That right there was a BLM, well, let's just say a former BLM rioter who got arrested in Philadelphia yesterday morning by the name of Meatball. And of course, she's out here screaming that we must be able to eat this, that, and the other. And you guys obviously saw that she got arrested. And the same person, by the way, has got an Instagram following. And I'm showing you guys a couple of pictures here. I've tried to not show the more gory stuff, the type of stuff that would get me removed from YouTube, even though there was no actual nudity in these photos. But one of these photos to me, I think is very... how do I say, very revealing, because she's in a bathtub and you guys can obviously see that the bath water, and trust me, you don't want to go to this person's Instagram page. It's pretty disgusting. It's brown, and not like brown in a way like there's dirt or anything. It's almost like, well, turd, dookie. It makes you almost want to call this person Dookie Ball or Turd Ball or whatever. But this was obviously the scene in Philadelphia a couple of nights ago. Now, guys, there's a video that I had released or was scheduled to release for yesterday that I'm releasing tonight that's going to go on top of this one that was made 2 days ago about the situation in New York, where I go much, much more in detail about what's yet to come as far as the immigration crisis and everything. And, of course, you guys saw the thumbnail and thought to yourself, well, wait a minute, you're going to be talking about Target. Yes, I am going to be talking about Target too, because obviously you get what it is that you asked for when you decide to go woke. It's almost like the world is getting back at you for being so absolutely stupid and even evil. But apparently the city of Philadelphia, they had some riots the other night. So let's go ahead and talk about that and talk about the overall situation in that city, because yeah, once those migrants make their way to Philadelphia, you're probably going to get a lot more crap like this here.
Alicia Reed in our newsroom now with the details. Alicia.
Maurice and Christine, a peaceful protest did take place earlier today after a judge dismissed charges against former police officer Mark Dial for the killing of Eddie Irizarry during a traffic stop back in August. Our sources tell us tonight's looting of stores downtown is unrelated to that peaceful protest. Videos obtained from social media show officers trying to arrest looters going inside a number of Center City stores. The number of looters outnumber officers, some of them even trying to take off on bicycles. Several stores have been looted, including an Apple store and a Foot Locker where a security guard was assaulted. We're told this is a large roving group and people are filling up large plastic bags with stolen merchandise. This isn't the first time looting occurred in Center City. Stores were hit after George Floyd was killed back in 2020, and crowds also retaliated against police. No word on how many people were arrested tonight. Live in the newsroom, Alicia Reed, CBS 2 News.
Here's what's really weird to me is that they chose to steal from an Apple store. Now, I want to throw this out here. If you steal from an Apple store and you've got a bunch of cell phones, obviously the cell phone will cut on. It will obviously, you'll see the features or whatnot. But of course, the thing is this, right? In order for you to actually use said cell phone, you've got to actually go to a provider like, say, Verizon or US Cellular or AT&T or whatever, and they actually got to get you set up. Or Apple itself can get you on their own plan. I don't really know if they're doing that now or not, but you've actually got to get on a plan. So it begs the question, why in the world would you steal cell phones if you can't get it to work? And let's just say you got lucky enough to go to Verizon to get them to cut it on. I'm pretty sure they're not going to do it, seeing how it is. I'm pretty sure the vast majority of these people, probably 99.9% of them, have got delinquent phone bills. Now, I got to say this really quick. This entire thing started over, apparently, it was a peaceful protest that started earlier in the day. Apparently, an officer had shot somebody, and the person who is the, I guess you could say the attorney for the family, actually made a pretty good case, stating that the person that got shot actually has a case for self-defense. I've actually seen the video. It doesn't look good, and I put it this way, I'm pretty sure some police officers might be able to change my mind on it, but then again, though, I'm not entirely sure that's the case after watching the video. Now, let me put it this way here. Oftentimes when police officers get into this stuff, when you actually look at the footage, you look at what the department regulations are, which, by the way, don't always match up to what the state law requires of law enforcement, you come away thinking to yourself, wow, the cops, I guess they got this one correct. Of course, the situation of Ma'Khia Bryant, if you guys remember that one, the left was going crazy because they were basically saying, let the girl stab. Meanwhile, the officer, he responded accordingly, and he put the girl down, who was trying to stab someone else. We talked about the George Floyd incident. We talked about that on several occasions. 99% of the people in this country unanimously agree that the cops got that one wrong, but at the same time, the defund the police movement and whatnot, obviously, it wasn't very smart, wasn't very bright, and now these police departments in these very, very big cities who defund their police departments are, in fact, dealing with this stuff. But there's one more correlation with this thing, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are asking themselves, well, how in the world were they able to get out there and protest, even though it was during the day, and how in the world were they able to get out there and loot places at night? Well, it's mostly due to the fact that these people don't have jobs. And something else, too, when you guys see this next news report, the answer to this entire question hits you right there in the face at the very beginning. Let's go ahead and roll.
Across the city at stores from Center City to Port Richmond to North and West Philadelphia.
Hank, what do you have?
Well, a right boot, a Nike one, brand new. It's still got the tag on it. If we had a left one, we'd be in business. But that's apparently what looters were thinking up here at Cotman and Bustleton last night as they ran through the front doors. The place closed at 8 o'clock. Apparently there were still people available. There's no smashed windows. This is JD Sports. Again, Bustleton and Cotman. Looters running through here last night. A T-Mobile, a stone's throw away from here. Get to more of that in a minute, though. Philly police say it was just before 8 p.m. last night that they stopped a group wearing all black and masks over at Chestnut and 17th. They say at the same time they heard 911 calls going off at the Foot Locker right there on Chestnut between 16th and 17th. You see the spider web in the front door and the same kind of chaos inside of there. The shoe store was ransacked. Tons of inventory stolen. It's about 10 minutes after that, and police grabbed one adult in that Foot Locker looting. About 15 minutes later, Lululemon over on Walnut between 16th and 17th got hit as well. Police say they arrested several people coming out of that store, and as they're doing that, the alarm goes off at the Apple store several blocks away over on Walnut. And some of this video, you can clearly see people running around in there, grabbing whatever they can, running for the door, not caring about the anti-theft protections on most Apple devices. But holy moly, what a night. Here's what Interim Police Commissioner John Stanford had to say, and he is not tolerating it.
These were not protesters. These were criminals. These were people that took advantage of an opportunity, and again, looking to destroy our city. And I say that because everybody in this city should be angry. Everybody that goes to these businesses should be angry. Everybody that lives in various communities throughout this city that have impacted by this behavior in 2020 should be angry about what they observed tonight and what they're seeing from you all reporting this tonight, because again, it's disgusting and it has no place in this city. And again, we all need to work together to nip it as quickly as we can.
Not a single work boot was even grabbed. They decided to go ahead and hit Foot Locker. There was also a Popeye's chicken that was hit, liquor store. You guys obviously saw it at the very beginning. I chose to put it at the very beginning of the video for a reason, so that way you guys can kind of see what was going on in Philadelphia. But When you factor in the rampant crime, the looting, and now you've got this immigration crisis, which I'll talk more about in tonight's video, which was made 2 days ago, of course, because I screwed up on the actual uploading process. It's no wonder that it's not exactly, how do I say, surprising that a company like Target, a lot like what happened in Chicago when Walmart decided to leave South Chicago, and now you've got food deserts, which are basically socialist food grocery stores, wherever the hell you might want to call them, which, by the way, are going to be funded on the taxpayers' bill. You got to ask yourself a question if tension is not yet coming back to this country. This was very, very interesting, though. This first report, which, by the way, came out of East Harlem. Make sure you guys watch it all the way through, roughly 2 minutes and 25 seconds. We'll come back on the other side. We got a lot to respond to. And, of course, I'll give you guys my personal assessment on what's probably going to happen as a result of this.
On 117th Street in Harlem, the stores will shutter for good on October 21st.
And as Fox 5's Arthur Chen reports, Target's blaming the closures on ongoing problems with theft and violence.
I just come out of there. I got me some eggs, some bananas, some avocados.
Anthony uses it for his groceries, and David is here for a birthday present.
I just bought a little something for my son, whose birthday today.
Countless residents in East Harlem rely on this Target on East 117th Street, but now Target says it's closing this store in a matter of weeks, citing rampant shoplifting that threatens the safety of employees and customers.
They come here, they steal, they steal, they steal. And I told them, they're hurting the neighborhood.
This woman has worked at this Target location since it opened in 2010. She asked not to be identified, but shared with us her frustration with shoplifters who often come in mobs emptying shelves.
They thought they was being smart and everything, running in, running out. Just disrespectful to this store. You understand what I'm saying? They just disrespected the store to the tires. Now there's not going to be no more Target. Now what they going to do? Now what's going to happen to this neighborhood?
Surveillance videos like these routinely show brazen levels of criminal activity. Shoplifting on a large scale has become a national crisis, costing retailers over $112 billion in losses last year, according to a National Retail Federation survey. Target's East Harlem store is one of 9 locations it's closing nationwide, all for the same reason. Other locations include San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle.
We may see other stores closing locations too, specifically in those big metro areas where, you know, the cost of rent is high. So it's really making a bigger impact on those stores.
CVS, the Rite Aids, they're all closing. These guys are shoplifting left and right, and it's horrible.
Now, Harlem is not exactly known for being a good neighborhood. It's not exactly known for being a safe neighborhood, but still at the same time, though, you hear that lady who worked for Target. She's an elderly black, well, I wouldn't say elderly black woman. I typically, you don't tend to go with elderly until somebody hits like their 70s, but she's clearly like in her 50s, maybe her early 60s. She could be in her 40s. Now, let me go ahead and ask you guys a quick question. Please leave it in the comment section of your response. What kind of people work retail jobs mostly? And I'm asking this because I'm somebody who's worked retail. I've been a gun salesman. I've worked at Walmart and Assembly in the back. I've worked in grocery. I've done grocery store, mostly due to the fact that I've been in college a lot and I've worked a lot of smaller jobs, part-time jobs. Let me ask you guys a serious question. What kind of people typically work retail jobs? Typically those who are trying to get themselves through college. There are some people who work a retail job their entire life to become management, and some of these places do, in fact, actually provide very good benefits and actually pay very good salaries. There's also another person who works there. It's typically somebody who's trying to get a second job who needs additional money to make ends meet, which could be this lady's case here. She could have a main job, and because of the Biden economy and people only getting about 20 hours a week and not even that there, which, by the way, is what makes the unemployment rate look so much smaller because a lot of people are getting part-time jobs. None of us are strangers to this, especially if you went through the Obama economy, because you need that second job to make ends meet here, especially given all the inflation. Or it could be somebody who is, let's just say, retired from a previous job and decides to go ahead and go work at another job anyway to add some additional income so that way they can kind of pad the additional cash that they're trying to leave behind for their kids. This lady right here living in Harlem doesn't strike me as somebody who's living what we call the good life. This is somebody who's obviously working class, and obviously these issues affect the working class the most above anybody else. I got into it yesterday on Twitter with the Daily Wire crew, which, by the way, they didn't respond to me or anything, but I just, got into it with people from their posse about how it was that their network, for the most part, goes more for suburban voters, and they oftentimes miss some very, very key things. We'll be talking more about them over the weekend because Pearl Davis has gotten into it with Matt Walsh, and of course, Fresh and Fit, they got into it with Ben Shapiro a while back about the whole topic of marriage. And I want to do a couple of videos on that because I once again believe that both sides could in fact be missing the mark, but I'll be talking about it in the next 2 videos. It'll be long ones. But still though, the thing is this right here. This situation affects people who are working at the store the most. Last thing you want to do is send your son to college or send your daughter to college and they end up having to get a job because you can't provide them money, because there are kids out there who go to college, go to universities, who are working class. And I've given you guys my personal opinion. I think that kids should go to work for a couple of years before they even go to college. It should be a requirement because you need to understand exactly what happens in the real world before you go to a university or a college and get indoctrinated by a bunch of woke idiot Marxists who never spent a single day working in the real world, that right there being their teachers, or the suburban kids who I personally think need to be put to work first before anybody else, because they oftentimes love to talk about the struggles of America, but yet they have no idea of what the hell those struggles really and truly are. You get tired of listening to it. But the thing is this right here, their actions are obviously trickling down, as I'll explain a little bit further on the other side of this next clip. Because it's, for the most part, the very, very large cities in America that are struggling with this entire issue. And to go on top of that, it's the working classes of those cities that are bearing the brunt of all of this. Let's go ahead and watch some of this.
Countdown is on. In less than a month, these 3 Target stores in the Bay Area will all be shut down. And the reason? It's something we're seeing far too often. Good evening. I'm Karina Nova.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Thanks for joining us. San Francisco, Oakland, and Pittsburgh will all lose a Target store, and they'll lose them before Halloween. These are the 3 local stores Target announced today will be closing.
They are part of 9 store closures across the country affecting Portland, Seattle, and New York City. Target gave only one reason: retail theft.
Now, Target, and I've gone for Target before, okay? I've gone for Target a lot. The reason why is because of their rampant wokeness. The fact that they put all that, all those clothes, is what I'm going to say at the very beginning, tuck-friendly bathing suits, crap like that, to pander to a certain crowd that's only about 2% of the nation's population, because we have a lot of sickos out there who are trying to indoctrinate our children and trying to indoctrinate our kids. And of course, you look at this and you think to yourself, wow, they're getting what the hell they deserve. Well, there's still 32 more stores there in that actual area of San Francisco. But did you notice something? Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, of course, businesses are already leaving Chicago. When you can get massive retailers to leave, and of course we know about the flash mobs, and Sean Fitzgerald did a video a while back on Ethan Klein basically saying that all these people who were looting were just good old-fashioned Aladdins and all that crap there. Let me go ahead and break something down for you. The reason why people loot has got nothing to do with social justice. Even though they may claim that it's about reparations or whatever, it's got absolutely nothing to do with that. It's opportunity. It's opportunism is what the hell this really and truly is. Go back to the 1992 riots with Rodney King, which, by the way, when I start doing stories on this channel, we'll probably discuss that one because it's a pretty big one, because it was one of the first things that people saw on live national television, even though you had riots in Detroit, you had riots Newark, of course, in the 1960s. I brought up the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Riots, of course, do happen, but let's be honest about riots. They're nothing more than opportunism. That's all the hell it is. They take an incident, they use it as a, a catalyst to go out there and steal a bunch of stuff. And of course, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not, but given the fact that they went and stole a bunch of iPhones, of which, by the way, you would need an Apple provider to set you up with an actual account to get the phone to even work properly. It looks kind of dumb that these people would do this. It's opportunism at its finest. That's all the hell riots really and truly are. Let's watch some more of this, because obviously people in San Francisco are in fact responding to this.
Target located on Century Boulevard in Pittsburgh, Broadway and 27th in Oakland, and the one located on Folsom in San Francisco gone effective October 21st.
I think it is a disappointment, especially because I moved around the area to be close to shopping centers and things like Target and get my groceries.
Target is blaming organized retail theft for their closures, saying in part, "We cannot continue operating these stores because theft and organized retail crime are threatening the safety of our team and guests and contributing to unsustainable business performance."
I see them when they're in the front and they're taking things out of their bags. Yeah.
How often do you see that here?
I have seen it at least 3 times, and I don't come here that often, so I know it's bad. It's bad around here. Yeah.
Rows of tents surround the area where Target on Folsom is located. Residents are not surprised by Target's decision here, pointing to a decline in safety.
So I'm not really sure why, security doesn't do something about it. I mean, I always see them inside not doing anything.
Because we've seen this a lot in whether it's the mid-market area or the Whole Foods that closed in my neighborhood or the Westfield Mall.
He's proposing a charter amendment to fully staff SFPD in 5 years. What can be done today? What can San Francisco do today to prevent more stores from closing?
I honestly wish I had better answers on near-term solutions.
But time is ticking for residents like Yolanda, who's seen her city change before her eyes.
It takes a toll in the community, to be honest with you. It's San Francisco, yeah, it's not what it used to be.
And Oakland's mayor responded to the closure of Target in her city by saying she is disappointed by the news and her goal is to continue working in partnership with members.
What that lady said there is obviously the truth. It's not the city that it once was. San Francisco used to be a bit of a jewel for the nation. It was a city that people loved to try to flock to in the old days. If you ever watch any old Westerns, or if you ever watch any, well, primarily Westerns from the 60s, 70s, 80s, the very, very few that were made in the 80s, even the movie Tombstone, the city of San Francisco was brought up at least two or three times. The Sheriff Behan, he mentioned the fact that we'll be just as big as San Francisco in a few years, and of course we'll be just as sophisticated, which obviously did not occur. But still, at the same time, San Francisco was kind of that city that people wanted to go to. Of course, San Francisco has been featured on television. The show Full House, if you ever watched that. Fuller House, of course, the very, very bad remake. But then again, at the same time, San Francisco is a city that people oftentimes look to as being as a form of achievement here in the United States. A tourist spot. You've got Alcatraz Prison over there. A lot of things out there. But of course, the more and more you look into the city now, you find out that it's a great big giant crap hole. And while we're on the topic of San Francisco with the rampant homelessness, let me go ahead and say this right now if you're watching this. To all of you people out there who believe that the Democratic Party is crazy enough to put Gavin Newsom on the ballot, and even if he is on the ballot to replace Joe Biden, I want you to know right now, he's got absolutely no chance of winning. So do us all a favor and stop filling your head with Tomi Lahren's BS. She's just an extremely loud person with fake boobs now who's very pro-choice and at the same time very, very pro-hookup culture, which I did a video on that before. That's the reason why she is pro-choice. Stop listening to this crazy woman. I mean, it's just Fox News paychecks, which, by the way, is giving her all of her crazy takes. You can even tell it by the way she approaches videos. I mean, stop listening to her. Gavin Newsom has got no chance in a general election because he's helped assist destroying the city of California. And while you had a GOP debate last night, the leading candidate was actually in Michigan at a UAW event giving a speech. And then you got Tucker Carlson and Bill O'Reilly doing a segment with one another on Twitter that, quite frankly, got more views than the GOP debate, which, by the way, was once again another stinker. Fact of the matter is this right here. A lot of things out there can be assessed with good old-fashioned common sense, and I'm about to give you that full-on assessment of what is about to occur. And what's about to occur is the same exact clip that I'm going to be playing in tonight's video, what you're about to see.
You talk to black people about voting, and that's what you're doing up in here today, pandering for votes to all of these students up in here. You're sitting on your hands, literally, and then you're going to be disrespectful and walk off the stage, but you want our vote. Sir, we've been voting for 60 years, and we haven't gotten a damn thing from you, or Joe Biden, or Kamala Harris. We haven't gotten anything. Sir, what? No, because I'm mad as hell, sir. 60 years we've been voting. What have we gotten other than being at the bottom class? And this clown here is gonna sit up here and give us this Baptist preacher antic show, and we buy and see, but I hope you're not buying into that bullshit. I really hope you're not buying into it. Because that is disgusting and disrespectful. To come up here and charge you guys for coming in here to see this shit show, and then not only that, you guys being charged again off your tuition. Do you know that? I'm pretty sure you don't. So, with that being said, I seriously hope that you guys don't go to the poll and vote for no more of these fuckers that sit in office ain't doing a damn thing for us. But these legals getting $7,000 in DHS. Did you know that? They getting $7,000 a month. Food stamps, vouchers, e-bikes, scooters. They taking jobs away from us. Y'all tuition and probably won't even be able to get a damn job when you graduate. Because guess what else? They haven't told y'all. The certifications attached to your degrees, you're going to need certifications to go with those degrees. And if you haven't checked into that before you started school, when you go for a job, they're going to tell you that shit when it's over.
I'm showing you guys this because it's anger, okay? It's anger. You have a black lady who is probably not getting a whole lot of money, who's not making a whole lot of money, who's more than likely in her late 50s or early 60s, and she's trying to tell the younger people in the crowd. And they even had another woman in there, and I've played this clip before, and you'll see it again tonight towards the end of the next video, so make sure you guys watch that video all the way through. And of course, I probably won't play it anymore after that. The fact of the matter is this right here. When you got rampant crime, when you got people who quite frankly can't get jobs, or which, by the way, this Meatball girl is probably never going to hold a job ever for the rest of her life because she's never going to have the money to go to an attorney to get this crap expunged from her record. But then again, though, she's probably going to get out in 30 days, and she's going to go out there and go loot again, probably until she gets herself in trouble and eventually gets put down. I got to say it that way because of the algorithm. The truth be told is this here. These people are not going to get jobs anytime soon. I think the old lady may be angry because of the overall situation. She's seeing these migrants who are coming in from all over, getting $7,000 in the city of New York, getting $5,000 to $7,000 in the city of Chicago from their taxpayers because they're about to also get work visas because they're actually really and truly being replaced. Got to say it that way too because of the algorithm. But that's really and truly what's going on here. There's a lot of anger, and of course, you've got a society that does not hold itself accountable. That is the only reason why it is that these things even occur. I listened to Tim Pool talk about this yesterday in about a 30, 35, 45-minute piece that he did on this. And he talked about this being a precursor to civil war, and my response is this right here. I don't think civil war is even possible in the United States because the country is so divided within itself. Let me break it down for you this way here. In these blue cities is more than likely where something would occur. I know it looks that way, but more than likely what would occur is that all the violence, if it actually happened, would be blue on blue. That is where the hell it would occur. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to manufacture one, or maybe they're not trying to manufacture. Maybe we're just a bunch of idiots. I mean, as I said, when Joe Biden got into office back in 2021, these people will screw up their own screw up. They're intentionally trying to screw things up, and they'll screw up in the process of trying to intentionally screw it up. These people are weak, they're feckless. Everything that they've put in motion ultimately ends up backfiring because they're not very bright. You bring a bunch of people across the border. The first thing Biden does is he goes on a Zoom call with a bunch of black leaders and say, you need to work with Hispanics. And of course, you're obviously seeing that this is not going to ever happen. Hispanics and black people are natural enemies. They've never gotten along. It is the truth. This video here is probably going to be ad limited already, but it is the truth. You factor in all the crime, you factor in all the looting and stuff, you factor in now that big businesses are now starting to leave some of these bigger cities. Guess what that means? You're going to have less availability. You're going to have less to go get. You're going to have less variety. After a while, that's just going to plunge this stuff into more and more chaos. I mean, how much longer we got to wait before businesses start leaving New York? By the way, it's the bad neighborhoods that they leave. They go into the good neighborhoods, and next thing you know, you got to go into these good neighborhoods where people automatically look down upon you. What do you think is going to happen when Meatball over here goes into a good side of Philadelphia that's a little bit more, it doesn't even have to be rich or even middle class. It could just be better than her own neighborhood. Also, something else too, there are YouTube channels out there that actually show you what these hoods look like. They look pretty bad. Philadelphia's got some of the worst ones. It's worse than anything from Rocky 1, Rocky 2, or Rocky 5. All right? When you see this type of stuff, when they go in these areas, don't you think maybe it's possible that security is going to be called a lot? Get this person out of here. They stink. Get this person out of here. They're poor. Get this person out of here. Don't you think that the cops are going to be more and more involved to protect those who actually control, how do I say, the tax flow of the actual city itself, even though they are all blue voters? Don't you think at some point in time they're going to be removed? And the next thing you know, you're going to see more events. Why in the world are people even putting this stuff on camera? Why are you even streaming this? As I said before, this person was not very bright. This girl Meatball was absolutely stupid. And now it looks like she's probably going to be going away for a while, or maybe 30 days or whatever. And then she gets out and then she's just going to get arrested again. And to think it was all over some Popeye's chicken, don't come over here and tell me that you did this because you were protesting something that happened earlier in the day. Trust me, the protest was actually peaceful. This right here was an opportunity that was taken advantage of a few people who decided to go out there and do something after a few people got upset. It was opportunism. That right there is what riots and looting really and truly is. And as a result of this, now you have big chain stores actually leaving these places. And like I said before, what do you think happens when these people go to the better sections of town? People are just going to want them to be removed. And then after a while, the true chaos is then going to begin to set in. But then again, that may also be the plan. But don't worry, we'll have more videos on that in the future. With that about there being said, guys, make sure you guys hit the like button. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the notifications bell, leave a comment in the comment section, share the video, post it to Facebook. I'll see you guys later.